Never show your hand. Never brag about your plans. Never react to their disrespect. This is not weakness. This is the ancient Stoic code of concealed power. Look closely at the modern world around you. Everyone is screaming for attention. Everyone is desperate to look important. Everyone is broadcasting their private life to a digital crowd of strangers. Men brag about money they have not yet earned. They post gym photos before building real physical strength. They announce their business ideas before making a single dollar. They share their private relationship problems online. They argue with anonymous strangers in comment sections. They do this because their internal world is empty. They crave the quick hit of public validation. They measure their self-worth by how many eyes are looking at them. They are completely blind to a brutal, timeless law of human nature. The moment you show your weapons, you invite the world to disarm you. When you reveal your intelligence too early, you make your superiors feel threatened and insecure. When you announce your goals, envious friends place invisible obstacles in your path. When you show that an insult hurts you, you hand your enemy the exact blueprint to control your emotions. Weak men flex what they have. Dangerous men conceal what they know. A truly powerful individual understands the ultimate psychological strategy of ancient history. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you are ordinary. Let them think you are harmless. Let them laugh at your quietness. While they are busy performing for the crowd, you are building in the dark. While they are celebrating illusions, you are gathering real, unshakable power. Over 2,000 years ago, Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius sat at the head of the largest empire on earth. He commanded legions across 3 continents. Yet, in Book 4 of his private journal, Meditations, he wrote these exact words: "Look beneath the surface. Never let the true quality of anything escape you. It is the mark of a master to hide his excellence and let his duties speak." A sovereign mind does not need the applause of fools. A true Stoic moves like a shadow. He works when others are sleeping. He studies when others are distracted. He stays silent while others boast. And when the time comes, his results shatter the room with the force of an earthquake. Welcome to the Stoic Power Club. Clear your mind of all vanity. Breathe deeply. Let us step into the ancient code of absolute power. Look at today's generation. We live in an era of chronic anxiety and performative success. A young man makes a small amount of profit in his business. What is his first instinct? He buys an expensive watch. He leases a luxury car he cannot afford. He posts screenshots of his bank account on social media. He thinks he is projecting high status. In reality, he is projecting desperate insecurity. He is screaming to the world, "Please look at me. Please validate my existence." Look at what happens in the modern workplace. An ambitious employee joins a new company. On his very first week, he talks constantly in every meeting. He tries to correct his senior managers. He brags about his university degrees. He announces all the revolutionary changes he plans to make. What happens to that employee? His colleagues immediately turn against him. They feel threatened by his loud arrogance. They exclude him from private discussions. They withhold critical project information. They quietly sabotage his initiatives behind closed doors. Within 6 months, his career is completely ruined. He made the rookie mistake of displaying his weapons before he secured his ground. Now look at the modern entrepreneur or creator. He comes up with a new business concept. Instead of building the product in deep isolation, he tells all his friends at dinner. He posts about his startup on LinkedIn. He buys business cards before writing a single line of code. His brain receives an artificial surge of dopamine. He feels accomplished without doing the actual heavy lifting. Within 3 months, his motivation completely evaporates and the project dies in silence. Modern psychology calls this the premature exposure trap. When you reveal your cards before the hand is played, you surrender your tactical advantage. You eliminate the element of surprise. You invite envy, competition, and sabotage into your life. The ancient Stoics recognized this psychological flaw thousands of years ago. Epictetus was born into the brutality of Roman slavery. He lived in physical chains before becoming one of the most revered philosophers in history. In his foundational work, The Enchiridion, Epictetus gave his students this absolute command: never proclaim yourself a philosopher. Do not talk much among the unlearned about your principles. Let your actions demonstrate what you know. He gave a brilliant analogy from nature. Sheep do not vomit up their grass to show the shepherd how much they have eaten. They digest their food internally, and they produce thick wool and rich milk. Stop vomiting your plans to the crowd. Digest your ambitions in deep silence. Let your results produce the wool. To see what true verbal authority and concealed power look like, we must travel back to ancient Greece, to the warrior state of Sparta. The Spartans were feared across the ancient world. They possessed unmatched physical discipline. But their greatest psychological weapon was not their spears, it was their speech. History remembers their method as laconic speech, the art of conveying maximum authority using the absolute minimum number of words. The Spartans viewed long explanations as an open admission of guilt, weakness, and deceit. They taught their young warriors that a man who uses 10 words where 2 are sufficient is wasting the breath of a warrior. Consider the legendary confrontation between King Philip II of Macedon and the leaders of Sparta. Philip was the father of Alexander the Great. He had built the most powerful military machine in the ancient world. He had conquered city after city across northern Greece with overwhelming force. Philip marched his massive army south toward the borders of Sparta. He sent an imperial letter to the Spartan leaders. The letter was long, arrogant, and filled with dramatic threats. Philip wrote, "You are advised to submit without further delay. If I bring my army into your land, I will destroy your farms, slay your people, burn your temples, and raze your city to the ground forever." The Spartan leaders read the long, dramatic threats of the Macedonian king. They did not hold a frantic public debate. They did not draft a long diplomatic defense. They did not beg for peace or explain their military tactics. They picked up a piece of parchment, dipped their reed in black ink, wrote a single word, and handed it back to the messenger. That word was "if." Look at the immense psychological devastation of that single word. Philip II had written 5 sentences of pride and ego. The Spartans replied with 2 letters. They did not argue. They simply pointed to the cold reality of the battlefield. King Philip read that single word. He looked at the unyielding defiance of men who did not need to shout to be dangerous. He turned his army around, and he never set foot inside Spartan territory. Now compare Spartan brevity to how modern humans communicate today. Someone asks you a simple question: "Can you help me move this weekend?" Instead of giving a clear, dignified answer, you panic. You say, "Oh man, I would really love to help, but my cousin is having this birthday dinner, and my car has been making this weird noise, and I might have to work on Sunday. So I am really sorry. Please do not be mad at me." Look at the weakness in those words. You have offered 5 excuses. You have invited the other person to dismantle your reasons. You have given them emotional leverage over your time. When you speak too much, you leak your power. When you speak with brevity, your words carry the weight of iron. Lucius Annaeus Seneca spent years navigating the dangerous, paranoid imperial court of Rome. He watched emperors like Caligula, Claudius, and Nero execute wealthy noblemen simply because their mansions were too grand or their reputations were too famous. In letter 14 of his Letters from a Stoic, Seneca wrote directly to his friend Lucilius about the wisdom of avoiding unwanted attention. Seneca used a brilliant real-world analogy. A highway robber attacks the wealthy merchant carrying bags of gold, purple silks, and fine jewels. But the humble traveler who wears a simple woolen cloak and carries only a wooden walking stick passes by the bandit untouched. The bandit does not waste his time on a man who appears to have nothing. Seneca advised, if you want to live in peace and protect your power, do not make a spectacle of your wealth. Do not display your intelligence like a trophy. Travel lightly through the world. Look at how this ancient rule applies to your modern everyday life. Why do people become victims of office politics? Because they walk into the department on day one and announce how smart they are. They make their manager feel insecure. They make their peers look lazy. The highway bandits of the modern office immediately target them. Why do people lose their money to fake friends, scammers, and parasitic relatives? Because the moment they achieve a financial win, they post it online. They show off their gains. They invite the bandits to rob them. Seneca taught the philosophy of strategic inconspicuousness. Live in such a way that you do not provoke the envy of the small-minded. Let your wealth be internal. Let your power be quiet. Let your advantages remain completely hidden until the day they are needed. When you walk like the humble traveler, you navigate dangerous social environments with complete safety. To understand the absolute historical power of playing underestimated, we must look at the birth of the Roman Republic. In the 6th century before Christ, Rome was ruled by a ruthless, bloodthirsty tyrant named Tarquin the Proud. Tarquin executed every nobleman in Rome who showed signs of intelligence, ambition, or leadership. He murdered his own relatives to secure his absolute power over the city. One young nobleman named Lucius Junius saw his brother murdered by the tyrant. Lucius knew a brutal truth. If he showed his intelligence, if he spoke against the king, or if he displayed his courage, he would be executed by sunset. So Lucius made a radical, calculated decision. He began to act like an absolute fool. He walked with an awkward, slow gait. He spoke with simple, foolish words. He acted like a harmless idiot who had zero ambition and zero understanding of politics. The royal court began to laugh at him. They gave him the insulting nickname Brutus, which in Latin meant the dull, stupid brute. Tarquin the Proud looked at Brutus and dismissed him as completely harmless. The king allowed Brutus to live inside the imperial palace, treating him like a pet fool. For over 20 years, Brutus endured the mockery of the Roman court. Senators laughed in his face. Guards pushed him around. Noblemen treated him like dirt. Brutus took every insult with a blank, foolish smile. Why? Because behind his foolish mask, Brutus was watching everything. He studied the layout of the palace. He identified which soldiers were loyal to the tyrant and which were secretly disgusted by his cruelty. He memorized every guard shift. He forged alliances in absolute darkness. Then, the critical moment arrived. The royal family committed a horrifying crime against a noble woman named Lucretia. The citizens of Rome were burning with outrage, but they lacked a leader with the courage to unite them. In that single second, the mask dropped. Brutus stood in the center of the Roman Forum. His awkward posture disappeared. His foolish gaze transformed into the fiery eyes of a conqueror. He drew a blood-stained dagger, raised it to the sky, and delivered a speech of such terrifying brilliance and authority that the entire Roman populace rose in rebellion. Brutus led the citizens of Rome, overthrew the tyrant Tarquin, drove the royal family into exile forever, and established the Roman Republic. He became the founding father of Roman freedom. Think about the profound lesson of Brutus. He did not survive by showing off his strength. He survived and conquered by letting his enemy believe he was an idiot. When you allow people to underestimate your intelligence, you gain total freedom of movement. They drop their guard around you. They speak freely in your presence. They reveal their secrets, their weaknesses, and their hidden motives. You become an invisible shadow in the room, gathering leverage while they laugh at your quietness. What happens inside your brain and nervous system when you practice the discipline of concealed power? Modern neurobiology reveals that when you brag about your goals, Your brain experiences what scientists call social reality substitution. When you tell someone, "I am going to write a book," or "I am going to lose 30 pounds," your brain releases a surge of dopamine and serotonin. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between the social acknowledgement of a goal and the actual execution of the goal. You receive 70% of the psychological reward up front, before you have written a single sentence or lifted a single weight. As a direct result, your internal drive, your hunger, and your discipline evaporate. You lose the biological tension required to execute hard labor. When you practice the Stoic discipline of concealed power, you keep that dopamine inside the engine. You do not leak your energy through your mouth. You feel the biological hunger to execute because your brain has not received the cheap social reward. That internal pressure forces you into deep focus, relentless work ethic, and long hours of uninterrupted labor. Furthermore, being underestimated completely eliminates social performance. Anxiety. When people expect you to be ordinary, you operate under zero public pressure. You have the freedom to experiment, to fail, to learn, and to iterate in complete peace. While the loud influencers are paralyzed by the fear of losing their public status, you are sharpening your blade in total psychological freedom. You become like a heavy warship moving through the fog, silent, dark, and carrying immense momentum. How does a Stoic use the power of being underestimated to dominate in the modern workplace and business landscape? Follow the 5 rules of the quiet competitor. Rule number 1, never outshine the master. When you enter a new company, team, or project, never make your superiors feel insecure about their intelligence. Play the attentive student. Ask for their guidance. Let them feel smart and powerful in your presence. While they are basking in their ego, you are learning the entire system from the inside out. Rule number 2, listen twice as much as you speak. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, gave us this timeless reminder. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. In meetings, do not rush to give your opinion on every minor point. Let everyone else talk. Let them reveal their biases, their weaknesses, and their political ambitions. When you finally speak, at the end of the meeting, deliver a single, precise, data-driven conclusion. Your words will carry 10 times the weight of those who spoke for 30 minutes. Rule number 3, hide your specialized skills until the critical moment. Do not announce every skill you possess on day 1. If you know advanced financial, modeling, programming, or strategic negotiation, keep it quietly in your back pocket. Wait for a high-stakes crisis when the department is panicking. Then, step forward with calm efficiency, solve the problem in 2 hours, and step back into your quiet composure. You will transform from an ordinary worker into an indispensable asset in a single afternoon. Rule number 4, never reveal your career ambitions to peers. If your goal is to launch your own business, secure a massive promotion, or transition to a higher-paying competitor, keep your mouth sealed. Weak people love to gossip about ambitious colleagues. They will take your plans to management to eliminate you as a threat. Work on your empire at night. Execute your transition during the day. Give your 2 weeks' notice with a polite, professional smile when the contract is already signed. Rule number 5, let them take credit for small things. Insecure coworkers fight over credit for minor tasks, slide decks, and daily meetings. Let them have the petty applause. Keep your eyes focused entirely on the major strategic milestones: equity, ownership, high-level skills, and real market value. The amateur fights for daily validation. The master plays for long-term dominance. What is the fastest way to lose all your power in a single second? It is an immediate emotional reaction. When someone insults you, disrespects your time, or tries to belittle you in public, they are throwing a burning coal at you. If you yell, if you get defensive, or if you insult them back, You have caught the coal. You have burned your hands. You have proved that their words have the power to alter your heartbeat and control your nervous system. Seneca wrote an entire philosophical masterwork titled On Anger. He described anger as a temporary madness, a state in which a man burns down his own home just to kill a small wasp on the wall. Seneca established the law of the delayed reaction. The greatest remedy for anger is delay. When someone provokes you tomorrow, enforce a strict 3-second freeze. Do not blink rapidly. Do not raise your voice. Do not shift your posture. Look them directly in the eyes for 3 full seconds of dead silence. Let the awkwardness of their disrespect settle upon them. Then, deliver one calm question. Is that what you intended to say? Notice what happens. You have not screamed. You have not thrown a punch. But you have completely flipped the psychological spotlight back onto their childish behavior. They look foolish. You remain the unshakable center of gravity in the room. To protect your strategic silence, you must recognize the 4 psychological traps that tempt you to reveal your power too early. Trap number 1, the bait of condescension. An arrogant person speaks down to you at a dinner party or in a meeting, treating you like you know nothing. The weak reflex. You feel an overwhelming urge to argue, list your credentials, and prove how smart you are. The Stoic defense. Smile inwardly. Recognize that their condescension is your greatest tactical asset. Let them believe they are superior. Collect data on their arrogance and use their blind spots to your advantage. Trap number 2, the pressure of the flex culture. You look at social media. You see peers posting rented luxury, fake lifestyle aesthetics, and constant updates. The weak reflex. You feel behind. You want to post your own achievements to prove that you are keeping up with the crowd. The Stoic defense. Remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. What is public praise? It is nothing more than the clatter of tongues. Look at the reality beneath the screen. Real wealth is quiet. Real power is hidden. Trap number 3, the trap of premature celebration. You achieve a minor breakthrough in your business or fitness. You make your first profit or hit a personal record in the gym. The weak reflex. You immediately want to tell everyone you know to celebrate the milestone. The Stoic defense. Seneca's law of the unfinished temple. An architect does not celebrate when the first stone is laid. He celebrates when the roof is sealed and the temple stands complete. Keep your head down until the work is finished. Trap number 4, the insecure friend's inquiry. A toxic friend asks you pointed, intrusive questions about your finances, your dating life, or your future plans. The weak reflex. You feel obligated to give an honest, detailed answer. The Stoic defense. The vague deflection protocol. Give broad, uninteresting, ordinary answers. Everything is steady. Just working hard on daily duties. Nothing major to report. Bore them with your answers until they lose interest and stop asking. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Book 8 of Meditations, "The mind that is free from turbulent passions is an impenetrable citadel. Man has no stronger fortress to which he can fly for refuge." Look at your life right now. Is your mind a fortress, or is it an open field where every passing opinion, headline, and text message can trample your peace? To build an inner citadel that cannot be breached, first, stop seeking external approval. If you hand someone the power to validate you, you give them the power to destroy you. Second, practice voluntary hardship. Train your body with heavy iron. Step into the cold, fast from comfort, and learn to sit alone in silence. Third, guard your attention. Treat your focus like imperial gold. Stop giving it away to digital noise and shallow gossip. When your inner citadel is fortified, you become truly untouchable. You do not care if they praise you. You do not care if they mock you. You stand grounded in the bedrock of your own virtue, discipline, and honor. What happens when a man who has mastered concealed power finally takes action? He does not make threats. He does not announce his moves. He strikes with the cold, absolute finality of an ancient legion. While others are busy arguing in the comments, complaining about the economy, and posting their daily drama, the Stoic moves in silence. He works when the city is asleep. He reads when others are scrolling. He trains when others are resting. And when his moment arrives, his success looks so sudden, so massive, and so effortless that the world calls it luck. Let them call it luck. You know the truth. It was the lethal, patient triumph of the Stoic code. Tonight, close the book on shallow bragging. Stop showing off your life to people who do not care about your soul. Stop explaining your boundaries to people who only want to exploit your energy. Stop wearing your weapons on the outside where your enemies can see them. Step into the productive shadows of Stoic discipline. Never show your hand, never brag, never react. Build your power in absolute silence. Command your mind every single day, and let your results speak when the time comes. Welcome to the Stoic Power Club. If this code of power strengthened your spirit today, subscribe to the channel, activate all notifications, and join our brotherhood of disciplined minds. Leave a comment below with the single word, dangerous, to seal your commitment to the path of concealed power. Stand firm, stay disciplined, command your life,